EGen Nation fam, what is up? What is happening? Ryan Williams back again with another edition of the TFA Prairie 10, also known as the DFS top low owned plays here. 10 plays that I think are going to be under the radar here for the week 7 slate. Before we get into those plays, just want to say thanks everybody for rocking with me this year. Sorry I missed you guys last week. Hopefully you were able to see my Twitter thread there. Follow me on Twitter at RyanAlexander_W. And I'm hoping to rock back with you guys this week and get you guys on some good plays here for week 7. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is where you can get all the DFS content here and also some good redraft stuff that's going on with the team. So go over there, subscribe to the channel, like and comment on the videos. We appreciate all the support. Okay, let's get into the plays for this week. I'm going to start it off with Josh Allen for you. He's 7,700 on DraftKings, 8,800 on FanDuel. And my goodness, what a get-right spot that Josh Allen gets. He's already faced this team already this year. Went for 312, 3 total touchdowns in that game, 57 rushing yards, which you like. The Jets are better versus the run, but they've allowed 9 rushing touchdowns. And Josh Allen, when he gets in the red zone, he's no stranger to hitting pay dirt with those legs. So you love that. But the Jets are also 31st against the pass. Everyone against the Jets, right? I mean, the price tag of 7,700 is going to keep people away from Josh Allen on DraftKings. And that could be a mistake because he's just doing it all for this team. They have struggled over the past 2 games, but he's still graded as PFF's top 6 passer. So I love that. 3 rushing touchdowns for Allen on the year. I think he can definitely, get you into that 25-point range, even 30-point range on DraftKings that you're looking for. And that will sit you nice if you get the if you get the right stack with him, which I'll talk about my favorite one there later on. Let's talk about Joe Burrow here. The kid, he's priced at $5,000 on DraftKings, 7,100 on FanDuel. And again, a guy who's faced a team already before. He's faced the Cleveland Browns in week 2, went for 28.5 DK points. I believe that's his best mark on the season thus far. He's had 300 yards in 4 of his past 5 games. He's had to throw a lot, right? He leads the league in attempts. Volume is king. He passed for 60 attempts in that Cleveland game, which was just insane. I don't think he'll find himself going there again, but you got Kareem Hunt on the other side, who's looking like a smash play. All of the projections are pointing that way, that Cleveland's going to be leaning on him. And that points are just going to be scored in this game, right? 50 total. So we love Burrow on the other side there. And you're looking at the weapons that you can pair with this guy. And T. Higgins comes in at 5,300. AJ Green, 4,300. Tyler Boyd even in the slot, 5,400. And Gio Bernard, and I talked about him in my Building Blocks article that's released. And how do you get away from Gio Bernard at 4,600? So you can definitely make a stack that doesn't even come to half of the DraftKings salary with 4 of these guys on the team. And that's very enticing when we look at DFS and where the points can come from. So definitely love getting to the Cincinnati side there with Joe Burrow. All right, let's go into running backs. And this is not going to make me comfortable to talk about, but I'm looking at Ezekiel Elliott, and I don't know why he's going under the radar. I mean, I get why he is. The Arizona game was rough. He fumbled twice after he said he wasn't going to fumble anymore this season. Okay, Zeke, so you have 4 on the year now. And people, that just leaves a bad taste in people's mouths. But we look at this Dallas team, and they are not the team that it was with Dak Prescott when they were just throwing, at will against people with the weapons that they have at wide receivers. This is a game against Washington, especially with the offensive line situation that's going on there with all the injuries, where they could lean on Zeke. And you love that he is getting the work in the red zone. Tony Pollard was spelling him in the Arizona game, but Zeke was still coming in the red zone. He's still getting a decent amount of target looks. And so with that being said, Washington is facing the 10th most rushing attempts on the year. They're top 10 in yards and touchdowns allowed to the running back position. So would it surprise me if Zeke goes for 102 on Sunday? No, it really wouldn't. And especially if a guy like Aaron Jones is ruled out, people will look to play some of these cheaper guys and lock in Alvin Kamara, which I don't think is a bad process at all. But Zeke is Zeke. And so I think he's definitely going under the radar here when we're looking at the implied total for Dallas, and you got to believe that Zeke's going to be involved in that. Let's bring in the last running back here, or the next running back, and the last one for me, Todd Gurley. He's 6,000 on DraftKings. He's 6,600 on FanDuel. FanDuel is 6,600 there for Todd Gurley when you're looking at the role that he has on this team. You're loving that he's getting work in the passing game. Brian Hill is an afterthought. He's got 9 targets over the past 2 games. He only had like 9 in the first 4. So you love that. Detroit, you're looking at them on the DVOA side. They're 12th versus the pass, but 30th against the run. And so we think points are going to be had here in this game as well, Atlanta and Detroit. And Todd Gurley going at 6K, that just seems too cheap on DraftKings. Definitely too cheap on FanDuel there when you're looking at him second in red zone rushing attempts. Now, the concern there is that Ryan is still passing in the red zone too. He has 31 attempts on the year, and Gurley has none of those targets. So, is there a way that Ridley or Julio or Hurst could take away from that production? Sure. But you're looking at the DVOA matchup and Gurley going under the radar. I love that. Let's talk about wide receivers here. And I got one that's high priced and the rest are value guys. So high priced here, I'm going with Stefon Diggs. I talked about Josh Allen. I got to get that partnership with Stefon Diggs there, who's 4th in the league in targets. He's 3rd in the league in receptions. He's 7K on DK. And you're looking at that. He's priced around guys like Will Fuller, Kenny Galladay, Julio Jones, DK Metcalf. That's going to keep him under-owned. And you're thinking about the ways that the Bills can win in this game. I mean, sure, do you want to trust the Singletary, Zach Moss, backfield there where it's just like Russian roulette on who's getting the work. No Smokey Brown for this game, no John Brown. So I know Gabriel Davis is popping up for some people at 3,600, but Diggs's role here is just so defined. He 105 air yards per game, 27% team market share there. Jets are allowing nearly 8 yards per pass. I mean, the explosion game is coming for Stefon Diggs, and I want to be ahead of the curve. Love getting to him this week. Let's go to Brandin Cooks, 5,200 on DraftKings, 5,900 on FanDuel. And this is another guy who should exceed with a wide receiver cornerback matchup that doesn't look great. Jair Alexander is expected to shadow Will Fuller. We have been avoiding Jair Alexander all year, or you should be. And so we bring in Brandin Cooks here. And at this price tag, he's been popping over the last 2 weeks. You love what you're seeing from him in the Romeo Crennel regime. He's out-targeted Will Fuller 21-19 over the past 2 weeks. He's got the same amount of red zone touchdowns as him. And even though Fuller has more looks there, right? So they still have the same amount of targets inside the 10 with 2. And so, and you're looking at the backup cornerback. I believe Kevin King is going to be out for this game for Green Bay. So Josh Jackson, this guy his grades on PFF are not great. Been exposed this year already. So Brandin Cooks, fire him up with confidence for week 7. Another guy who's, man, not going to make you feel comfortable about playing him, but talking about Marvin Jones, he's 4,400 on DraftKings. He's 5,700 on FanDuel. Wide receiver 1s and 2s have blown up against Atlanta. I mean, this secondary, outside of AJ Terrell, who's been on and off the injury report here, but Kendall Sheffield and Isaiah Oliver, these guys are terrible. I mean, we've seen it week after week. Just saw it last week with Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. Wide receivers against this team have popped off, and you love that he's on the field running around on 90+% of snaps, definitely in the top 5 receivers in that regard. And so it has to come, right? And we're looking at the offensive coordinator who was talking this week about the frustrations that Marvin Jones is having of not seeing the looks, right? And that, he's saying, yeah, we know Marvin's a talent. We got to get him the ball. And so maybe we see a little bit of a narrative there of them trying to get Marvin Jones involved this week in a get right spot and for Detroit and one of the best spots he'll probably see on the year against Atlanta. 2 more guys that I have for you as plays this week. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, MVS, I'll call him for short as I stumble over there. He's 4,100 on DraftKings. He's 5,400 on FanDuel. Listen, if Aaron Jones is out this week and we're getting Devontae Adams, who should be covered by Bradley Roby, and then, Jamal Williams will be definitely in play, and that's where a ton of ownership will go. Okay, so Valdes-Scantling is going to be left there going overlooked. He has a matchup against Vernon Hargreaves, and Maddie and I have joked about this time and time again on the pod, like a guy who we've targeted year after year after year in DFS. He's just horrible. You're looking at Valdes-Scantling, and he's tied with Adams in-team targets. Now, that's even crazy to think about when you factor in how many games Adams missed. But really, when Adams was off the field, Aaron Rodgers was looking to Valdes-Scantling. And now we have, if Aaron Jones misses, all that work in the past game is going to, be even more available for Valdes-Scantling to take over there. You love that he's by far the team lead in air yards, 550 there. That ranks him 13th in the league. He's more than Gallup, more than DJ Moore, more than Robbie Anderson, guys that we love. He's within 20 yards in air yards of Will Fuller, Amari Cooper, Terry McLaurin, Tyreek Hill, which is crazy. So Valdes-Scantling, if he's able to take one to the house on a deep pass, the same reason why I'll talk about this guy next, Christian Kirk, who I like this week again, but people love him for his explosive ability. I think Valdes-Scantling is going overlooked there. And so let's talk about Christian Kirk. He's the last guy here. 4,900 on DraftKings, 5,400 on FanDuel. He's so explosive, right? We saw it against Dallas. He's able to get loose here in the Seattle secondary that we have been targeting all year with wide receivers. They've allowed 12 wide receivers to get 67 yards or more. 7 of those wide receivers went for over 100. And you're looking at it, if Christian Kirk can avoid the Shaquille Griffin side of the field, which Shaquille Griffin has been pretty solid in stopping, at least from the perspective of the Seattle defensive backs stopping production there. If they're moving him around, you definitely love that if he can take one to the house. I'm looking at guys who have popped against Seattle on this year: Cedric Wilson, N'Keal Harry, Russell Gage. Christian Kirk is better than all 3 of these guys. He's got 3 plays of 20-plus yards over the past 2 weeks. That's good for 4th on the league. You got to love getting to some Christian Kirk, especially we talk about it, late night hammer, right? That Sunday night game, people are going to want to get exposure to it. Do it with Christian Kirk. That's going to do it for the top low-owned plays here of the week. It feels good to be back, DJ Nation fam, and everybody else who's been tuning in here. I will catch you guys next week for week 8. But until then, I hope you guys have some success with your week 7 teams. Hit me up on Twitter at RyanAlexander_W. Let's get this money, and I'll catch you guys next time. Until then, good luck. Peace.